Disclaimer: I decided to use AI text-to-speech because H3's fans are scary.
I can't hear you.
For the past 6 or so years, content creator, podcast host, and self-proclaimed comedian Ethan Klein has been hailed as a champion of free speech. While certain corners of the internet celebrated his proud use of the N-word and the F-word, the vast majority of praise was aimed at his court victory when sued by Matt Haas for copyright infringement, which set a new precedent for fair use. Since then, he has received some mild criticism for what some consider to be attempts at canceling right-wing and controversial figures while hosting and defending others, but this has, rightfully so, been defended for the most part. Negative reactions to what you say is not an attack on free speech. It's using free speech to speak against others using theirs, so Ethan's spot on the throne has remained secure. But Ethan's views do not appear to be entirely consistent. During episode 108 of Off the Rails, which ran on March 13, 2024, the H3 podcast started with a 33-minute segment labeled Responding to Wild Reddit Accusations. Most of the segment targets Twitter user Misha after a tweet claiming the official H3 subreddit removed a post wishing crew member Ab and all Muslim H3 fans a happy Ramadan. In the segment, Ethan claims that this never happened and backs it up by showing that the account that initially shared this information only had one post, which should be taken with a grain of salt, as there was no mention of the possibility of them using a throwaway account.
Yeah.
This is not the first time Misha might have been wrong, as on March 12th, they shared a tweet presenting the H3 podcast's ironic clickbait title "I'm taking an indefinite break as fact." Ethan would then vaguely threaten and paint this account as a target for his fans, but fails to mention that most of the account's tweets against him were critiquing what they see as his views on Palestine, Palestinians, Muslims, and his recent mocking of Aaron Bushnell. So there's a possibility of ulterior motives. But Misha was not the only target. The main target was the source of the reportedly faked post H3 snark. Ethan claims that the subreddit is dedicated to constant lies and harassment of the H3 crew members and their families. This is then used as justification for brigading and mass reporting.
So again, I've gone through every avenue possible with Reddit. I've gone through every possible available channel, and like I said, if this doesn't get taken care of, then I'm going to have to start holding Reddit accountable for allowing this kinds of behavior. It's fucking crazy.
So what is H3 snark, and is there any truth to Ethan's claims? As of the making of this video, no further proof has been provided on the suspected fake Ramadan post. The claim of the subreddit targeting the crew's family members is serious, so I looked into it, scrolling through hundreds of posts. During my attempt, I could find 0 posts on Sam's, Cam's, Love's, Zach's, Ian's, or Dan's parents. There was one post relating to Zach's girlfriend, though this seemed to be related to Teddy Fresh, and not her as a person. There were also a few posts and comments about Cam's suspected girlfriend. As for Ab, there was one post about his mom.
Have sex! Have sex!
Okay.
I'm waiting.
And his dad, praising him for speaking up about Islamophobia. Things are a bit worse when it comes to Olivia, whose parents are brought up on multiple occasions in an attempt to paint her as a Nepo baby. Now when it comes to Ethan's parents, that's a very different story. One could see them as an exception as they're active parts of the show. But there are many posts critiquing Donna for her views on Palestine and treatment of Ethan's old co-host Trisha Paytas. For Ethan's father, there are even more, with tons of posts calling him a creep and a pervert, showing screenshots of his interactions with younger models and fans on Twitter. So while there is truth to these claims, there is a real discussion to be had about whether this justifies shutting down a whole community criticizing public figures. But if that's not all there is to it, what is H3 snark? Are they truly a group of obsessed freaks harassing and bullying the H3 podcast for the hell of it? The title of the subreddit might not be a good look for those unaware. Snark is critical or mocking comments made indirectly or sarcastically.
Dumb fucking bitch.
Ouch.
How dare you? Bitch. I mean, you say what you will about my dad, but at least he didn't fucking leave me in a dumpster behind a fire station.
Let's fucking go.
The description for the subreddit goes: criticism for the H3 podcast hosted by Ethan Klein. Roasts, toasts and memes for all related creators and brands, and has the following rules: no racism, homophobia, body shaming, corny responses, doxing, belligerent behavior, callouts of other submods by username, slurs, misinformation or brigading, be respectful, redact identifying information, controversial discussion may be limited, and leave if you don't like it here. So is there an uneven balance between the amount of criticism and just mocking? While there's no doubt that a majority of the comments are, much like the podcast, snarky in tone, I dove in and had a look. Looking through the last 100 threads, it would look something like this. 5 threads were members of the subreddit being excited about the subreddit being mentioned by Ethan. 13 threads were from H3 fans claiming they used H3 snark, because people get banned for even the mildest criticism on the official subreddit. 4 threads were either calling Ethan racist, Islamophobic, or misogynistic. 14 threads were about Ethan threatening Reddit if they didn't take down H3 snark, or about him encouraging his fans to brigade the sub. 35 threads were calling Ethan Klein out for hypocrisy. 3 threads were very mild criticism from people still considering themselves fans, or complaints about how H3 and the fans treat the crew members. 5 threads were more direct and just called Ethan or other crew members stupid or lame. 14 threads were barely related to the podcast and were more casual or meta, asking questions such as how long have you been watching H3 for? 5 threads were related to Ethan or Hilla and Palestine, or to the crew members not speaking up about it. 1 thread was a rude post about someone's face, and 1 thread was a criticism of Teddy Fresh. Now if you sort the subreddit by top-rated threads of all time, things are a little bit different. Out of the top 20 highest-rated threads, 15 are related to Ethan or Hilla and Palestine, or to the crew members not speaking up about it. 2 are unrelated to the actual podcast. 1 is about Trisha Paytas, and to criticize Teddy Fresh. To be clear, I have been watching the subreddit for quite some time, and nothing had been wiped after Ethan's threats, and the above chart is more or less representative of the subreddit in general. While it is understandable that it doesn't feel good to read these things about yourself, especially not in a snarky tone, the claims that it's a place used to harass, dox, or attack Ethan, Hilla, crew members, or their families is just not accurate. While there is some truth to the fact that there might be some level of obsession going on here, and it has a tendency to misinterpret jokes, the majority of the posts on here at least start as genuine criticism backed up with clips, reasoning, and a twisted form of respect. The place stands up for Ab as much as they criticize him, showing disdain for the podcast and its official subreddit, lack of respect for his genuine problems. With the way he looks, which must be a deep issue because this man looks great. When criticizing Ethan's treatment of Kavkov, they are not supporting a nasty ex-billionaire, but criticizing Ethan attacking him by joking about Ryan's ex getting railed. Despite her new partner having asked people to stop on multiple occasions, Ethan has the right to be upset with the existence of the subreddit. But as a so-called warrior of free speech, it is unfortunate that he sees it as justifiable to falsely report the subreddit and send his fans to brigade it. Being rude is one thing, but the subreddit, as unimportant as Reddit is, does one important thing. It is an extremely well-researched archive of valid criticism towards a person who has blocked any form of valid criticism from his official forum. These days, most content creators seem to have moved on from Ethan, but things have only gotten worse. If I were to make a full video about all the recent problems with Ethan and the H3 podcast these days, the video would have to last multiple hours. H3 snark is the best alternative to such a long video essay, and I think removing it is an attack on free speech, an attack on valid criticism, and goes directly against one of the things Ethan built his whole career on. The place deserves criticism as well. But that's what all of this is about, criticism, and in this case, Ethan is trying to remove the best and only true source of valid criticism towards him by lying, whether it's a conscious move or not. Ethan can dish it, but he can't take it.